Hello and welcome live from Channels Television's global headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. You're watching Newsroom series. I'm Dominic Iwiwa, and today our focus will be on the South-South region. But before we get into that, let's have a look at our top stories making the rounds at the moment. Security in Oyo State will be beefed up with the immediate procurement of 2 aircrafts to curb the menace of illegal miners, kidnappers and other forms of security threats, particularly in the vast hinterland of Oyo State. The Commissioner for Information, Dr. Oyelade, made the announcement after the weekly Executive Council meeting. He says the procurement was approved in a renewed determination by the government to secure the state further from the influx of bandits and their perpetration of their enterprise. According to him, the government cannot afford to be complacent because there are still pockets of kidnappings and banditry going on in parts of the state. We start off in River State, where the state government has urged residents of the state, particularly those in flood-prone areas, to brace up for the risk of flooding following a recent advisory by the federal government. The warning was issued in a response to forecast and environmental alerts by federal authorities, which also identified several other states and the Federal Capital Territory as vulnerable to flooding in the coming months. The state government, in a statement by the Senior Special Advisor on Media to the Sole Administrator, Hector Igbokubu, said the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, is deploying sensitization teams to River State and other affected areas. He expressed the state government's support for the initiative and called on residents to take the advisory seriously. In response to the advisory, the River State government has issued a strong warning against illegal land reclamation activities, which it said contribute significantly to environmental degradation and increased flood risk. According to the statement, unapproved reclamation of wetlands and ecologically sensitive zones disrupts natural drainage and increases the likelihood of flooding during heavy rains. The government vowed to crack down on individuals or organizations involved in such activities, warning that offenders would be prosecuted under existing environmental protection laws. Now, the Cross River State Governor, Mr. Basio, too, has restated his commitment to judicial independence and pledged sweeping reforms in the state's justice system. He made this known while inaugurating the Cross River State Judicial Service Commission at the Executive Council chambers in Calabar, completing the structure supporting the 3 arms of government. Governor Otu urged the new commissioner to uphold integrity and work to transform the judiciary, noting the need for better infrastructure, welfare, and stronger institutional support. He announced plans to improve workers' welfare, adding that only through collaboration among all arms of government can good governance thrive.
Having formally constituted the State Civil Service Commission of the Executive Arm of Government, the State House Assembly Commission of the Legislature, it is therefore imperative to inaugurate the State Judicial Service Commission for the Judicial Arm of Government. To the members of the Judicial Service Commission sworn in today, I implore you to see the event beyond an administrative precedence and the accompanying fanfare. Rather, it is a solemn pact that you have entered with the government and the people of Cross River State. The ball is therefore in your court to effect a holistic turnaround in the provision of the necessary incentives for enhanced dispensation of justice. We are looking at moving to the next level. We will be replacing the cars that we did not finish from the other exercise that we did, and we'll also renovate the quarters of these judges. We'll also try to look at the offices and see what can be done. But I believe that before the term of this administration, we must have been able to restructure the judiciary in a well manner that in terms of making sure that their condition of service improves, continue to do our very best.
Residents of the coastal community of Okukpedi and its environs in Ibiono Ibom local government area of Akwa Ibom State are experiencing a new lease of life following the completion of rehabilitation work on the field sections along the 8-kilometer Ikotekpene-Itu parallel road. The project is part of ongoing efforts by the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency FERMA to fix failed federal roads in the state.
Once in a state of disrepair, the Ikotekpene-Itu parallel road is bouncing back to life thanks to the recent rehabilitation efforts by the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FERMA. The road serves as a vital connector between Ikotekpene-Itu and the T-Junction Market, one of the largest farm produce and seafood evacuation points in the region. Produce from Akwa Ibom's inland farms and coastal communities travel through here to neighboring states like Abia, Cross River, and Imo. But for years, worsening road conditions have hampered trade and movement. That story is changing now.
The Calabar to Parallel Road is a very important and strategic road in Akwa Ibom State. It's a road that links to the tomb sites of Mary Slessor, a missionary from a white missionary that was able to abolish the killing of twins. This road leads to her tomb, and the road also linked to the major Calabar-Itu highway, which is presently under rehabilitation. What I would like the press to do is that they should help us to tell the host community to maintain this facility, especially the people selling on the road, so that the facility will help them, it will last, and at the end of the day, the whole people around this community and the environs will see the good dividend of democracy.
Residents say the revival of the road is already transforming their lives.
This road was very bad before now. It was difficult to come here and we hardly made sales. But now I can come here every market day and business is moving very well. May God bless the people that fixed the road for us. I'm the chairperson of Fish Sellers Association in this market. The rehabilitation of this road has made business good for us again. We are grateful. The successful completion of this project will certainly aid movement of goods and services and ultimately boost economic activities in the area.
With smoother access and safer travel, the new road is not just a lifeline for rural traders, but a boost to regional commerce. The successful completion of this project is set to drive lasting economic benefits for Akwa Ibom State and beyond.
The coalition of South-South Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture has reaffirmed its commitment to fostering inclusive economic growth and employment opportunities across the geopolitical zone. The president of the coalition at a regional job creation and economic review summit in Port Harcourt called for stronger synergy between government, private enterprise and regional stakeholders to unlock the full potential of the region's economic assets.
A wave of economic optimism is rising in the South-South as young entrepreneurs, seasoned business leaders and development experts meet in Port Harcourt for the region's Job Creation and Economic Review Summit.
There are some community chambers.
Organized by the Coalition of South-South Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, COSIMA, the summit spotlights the urgent need to unlock new opportunities and tackle youth unemployment head-on.
As the umbrella body representing business leaders from the 6 states of the South-South region, where all companies operate, we appreciate the commitment of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to international best practices and sustainable development. Its benefits include: 1, job creation across various sectors. 2, curbing youth restiveness through community development and empowerment schemes, regional development through infrastructure upgrades and public service improvement.
Looking beyond the region's oil and gas wealth, the group is targeting growth in maritime operations and port infrastructure, with the full support for the federal government helicopter landing levy as a fresh avenue for revenue generation.
What we have come here to do is to see the opportunities that we have in the South, to be able to empower our youths. We believe that from what the President has told us, if this opportunity creates 1,000 or 3,000 or 10,000 jobs, the issues of militancy will be a thing of the past. And there will be values that we can consistently see in growing the economy.
Another major highlight from the event is the bold proposal for a regional independent power project aimed at resolving persistent electricity issues that hamper SME growth.
For the businessmen in the region, importantly is power. If the region can as well jointly and collectively develop power and supply power to the people in the region for the oil and gas, for the basic SMEs, business factors and all that, I'm sure that will actually go a long way.
The woman is somebody's mom, somebody's wife, and the next CEO. So if we groom our women to build up their capacity, to start thinking in this dimension of taking the whole advantages and benefits and potentials we have all seen and know, and now let's move from potentials to action.
Participants welcomed the summit idea and called for urgent steps to turn conversations into concrete actions.
I got the assurance that I needed to get to go along as a youth. I am not employed at the moment, but with the training and the skill acquisition that they will be holding, I feel like if I go through it, I'm going to be able to get a job.
I'm grateful to them for everything they've said, and we are also praying for implementation. You know, one of the major things in this our region is so many things come up, but implementation is always the problem.
At the end of the deliberation, they asked everyone who has converged on the city for the summit to fully tap into the region's human capital and natural resources in order to build a future that works for all.
The Edo State government has reduced the state's domestic debt by 30.6 billion naira within just 3 months. This reduction was made known through the newly released data from the Debt Management Office, which reports that the state's domestic debt dropped from 113 billion naira in Q4 of 2024 to 82.4 billion naira in Q1 2025, the most substantial quarter-on-quarter debt reduction recorded among all Nigerian states within the period. Speaking at a recent policy retreat in Benin City, Governor Kwabolo emphasized his administration's commitment to sustainable growth. He says that on assumption of office, his administration focused on revamping the state's internal revenue framework, empowering the Edo Internal Revenue Service with digital tools, enhanced compliance strategies, and broader citizen engagement. These reforms, according to him, have not only boosted internally generated revenue, but have also instilled renewed public confidence in the state's financial management. The wife of the President of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has extended her grassroots empowerment initiative to Edo State, distributing agricultural support materials to women and youths across 18 local government areas. The program is part of the federal government's Renewed Hope Agenda, initiative aimed at boosting food security, promote economic inclusion, and empowering groups through sustainable agricultural practices. The exercise, which held at the new festival hall of the Government House in Benin City, the state capital, was supervised by the coordinator, Office of the First Lady of Edo State, Mrs. Edisele Anana. She noted that the empowerment scheme is in line with the state government's mantra of a prospective Edo State, adding that a gardening competition has been introduced with cash rewards to the winners.
Today, we will be empowering in agriculture, youths in agriculture, women in agriculture, young farmers club, and every home a garden. The Renewed Hope Initiative Women in Agriculture program aims to empower women through through sustainable agricultural practices. It provides support, training, and resources to women in agriculture, focusing on economic inclusion and food security. The initiative provides agricultural inputs such as seeds, fertilizers, and tools, as well as cash grants to all the beneficiaries here today. The young farmers the young youth in agriculture. The scheme is to empower youth with skills, knowledge, and opportunities to become successful entrepreneurs in agriculture and agribusiness, ensure a brighter future for all youths in Edo State. For the Young Farmers Club, we call them Catching Them Young. And I want to tell the young farmers that today, if you invest your time in agriculture, tomorrow you'll become a multi-millionaire. The club aims to introduce children to farming, providing them with opportunities to learn about agriculture, develop practical skills, as well as the love for food and agriculture as well. The essence is to promote food security, build a pipeline of young farmers, and foster an apprenticeship for agriculture amongst the young children. For the Every Home a Garden, which I call my own personal project as well, and I have said earlier, from the garden to the table, is an initiative focused on boosting food production by every household to cultivate a garden.
Security coordinators from the Urobo ethnic group have reacted against the publication by the Urobo Progress Union, UPU, which called for an end to Tantita's operations in Urobo communities. In a press briefing held in Ugeli, they expressed shock over the UPU's position and reaffirmed their support for Tantita's role in combating oil theft in the Niger Delta.
These are coordinators from the Urobo ethnic group saddled with the responsibility of protecting the nation's crude oil assets in the Niger Delta. They don't seem happy with some of the recent developments in their domain, the latest being a recent publication made by the leadership of their social cultural body, the Urobo Progress Union, in a national daily, rejecting the operations of Tantita security in Urobo communities. While condemning the publication, the coordinators acknowledge the significant role the security outfit is playing alongside other traditional security agencies in the ongoing fight against crude oil theft, pipeline vandalism, and environmental degradation in the Niger Delta region.
Every single kilometer of pipeline traversing Urobo land is protected by Urobo indigenous 100%. Every community in Urobo land has given slots as operative coordinators and are responsible for the safekeeping of the pipelines in their domain. Therefore, Tantita has fully complied with the provisions of the PIA.
Challenging the legitimacy of the General Assembly cited in the UPU statement, they describe the publication as misleading and potentially dangerous, pledging their commitment to the continuous protection of oil and gas assets.
Some selfish people. We are over there, so we will have children. Are we going to have children? No. You can lose children? No. So we come here to show say Tantita employ our children from the mandate areas where consign them. We get all the pieces here for Urobo, well represented. Urobo children here where Tantita they play, when they employ.
Is doing well, and you could see what actually happened in the old Niger Delta. He has reduced the oil blocking to the barest minimum, vandalization of pipeline, he reduced it to the barest minimum. So as for that, and he employed citizens of Urobo, taking care of the youth, sons and daughters of Urobo, and the traditional rulers' species. So I think the man deserves a great honor and a great respect. And what he's doing right now, I don't think we have seen this kind of empowerment before in the history of Delta State.
The gathering ends with the coordinators reiterating their call on the federal government and members of the public to disregard what they describe as a smear campaign.
The Ogbe-Ijaw Kingdom in Warri South-West local government area of Delta State has voiced strong opposition against the recent ward delineation exercise by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and the reallocation of electoral wards. In a press briefing held in their community, their leaders denounced the proposal as unfair and biased, arguing that despite Ogbe-Ijaw's superior population size, land coverage, and number of communities, the kingdom has been shortchanged. They insist that Ogbe-Ijaw rightfully merits 8 out of the 19 electoral wards based on INEC's own parameters. The group urged INEC's national chairman to swiftly correct what they describe as an act of deliberate marginalization, warning that continued neglect could lead to the shutdown of oil and gas infrastructure within their territory.
We totally reject INEC's proposal on the allocation of 19 registration area electoral wards in Warri South-West local government area to the respective communities kingdoms. The Ogbe-Ijaw Kingdom, with the highest population, landmark, and communities, deserve 8 registration areas electoral ward out of the 19 registration areas in Warri South-West local government area, in line with INEC's guidelines criteria for the fresh delineation. We call on chairman of INEC to address this act of gross and wicked injustice against the Ogbe-Ijaw people of Warri South-West local government area of Delta State. If the injustice against us is not addressed, we will shut down oil and gas facilities in our communities if this grave injustice against us is not addressed.
The Rivers State chapter of the National Youth Council of Nigeria has reiterated their apolitical commitment, making this known during their management meeting in Port Harcourt. The Rivers State chapter chairman Sopuruchi Opo said the Youth Council is not an avenue to support politicians in their belligerent fight. Speaking further, Mr. Opo, however, welcomed the ongoing peace process in the state, saying it's a step in the right direction for the progress of the state.
The fourth one is chairman's opening remarks. I'm happy that by God's grace, our fathers have made peace. It was never our problem. We were never the problem. You were never the problem. Yes. But to some extent, it was political. Yes. And as a matter of fact, Youth Council is apolitical. Yes. We are not political organizations. According to our constitution, we are not permitted to use Youth Council to endorse any context of any kind. And we're very much careful about that.
And that's where we drop the anchor on this edition of Newsroom series. I'm Dominic Iwiru. Enjoy the rest of your day.